to go on the camera, if that's all right.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah. Okay, morning everybody. If we could follow the usual format, please. If you wish to ask a question, please raise your hand and we will promote from an attendee to a panellist. And the recording of the press conference will be shared after. Pete Stevenson, if you could kick off, please, from Sky.
Dean, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you, Pete.
Technology. Thank you very much. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Yourself?
How's the weather down there?
I'm a bit windswept at the moment. So, yeah, it's a little bit windy, but no, it's okay.
Are you flying today?
We're due to, yes.
Right. First big decision then.
Listen, if a pilot's happy to go up, I'm happy to go up.
Can I just check your injury situation first, please? Because I know you had one or two issues with young Adam and Matthias. How's everybody looking this week, please?
Yeah, so we've had some bad news about Adam. He went in yesterday and had an arthroscopy and ended up having a meniscus repair, which has probably put him out for the season now. So that's a big blow for us because it broke into the team and was doing really well. So disappointing for him and disappointing for the team. But Matthias has had another 60 minutes. We had a practice game in a week. So he's getting back to the levels that, before he got injured and, nearing a start for the team now as well.
I spoke to Pierre yesterday and he was saying he didn't actually watch Liverpool in midweek against Inter Milan. Did you?
I did, yes. Along with my coaching staff, and it was a really good game to watch. And they found a way to win. They were under pressure at the start of the second half, but they've certainly got a will to win at the football club, and they got a really good result.
Having lost at home to City 4-0, is this one of the worst places you could be going to, Anfield, where they are so strong? Yeah,
I mean, following on, we knew that Manchester City and then Liverpool were going to be really tough games for us. We reviewed the Manchester City game and. There were a lot of mistakes made. I was disappointed with the manner of the goals we conceded. And we have to limit them mistakes now. I think all the goals we conceded were preventable. And that's something we have to do against Liverpool now, limit them mistakes.
How difficult is it against these top sides? Because I was looking at a graphic this morning. City's goals come from everywhere. I think 7 different players. And I mean, Liverpool, something similar. It's so difficult to stop the supply and to stop the goal threat. Yeah,
I mean, they've got quality all over the pitch. And that's why, both Liverpool and Manchester City are the 2 top teams in the world. Very difficult to stop. But, we approached the game as an opportunity again. We felt Manchester City was an opportunity and, 1-0 at half-time, we thought we were in the game. And unfortunately, we gave them a sloppy second goal. You can't afford to do that at this level against this quality of opposition. So we know we can go and give them a match. We know we have the quality to go and cause problems, but we certainly have to limit our mistakes. That's the biggest thing.
14 games to go now. How are you coping with all this situation? Because it's almost a cup final every week now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, people talk before we played Manchester City and Liverpool saying, we had a free hit, but we haven't got any free hits. As you said, there's only 14 games to go. So every game is a big game for us. Every game is an opportunity to go and get some points and climb out the bottom 3. What's important for us is after 38 games that we are at that bottom 3. And I firmly believe that we're capable and have the quality to do that.
Max Aarons has said in one of the papers this morning that the experience of going down 2 years ago was awful, really horrible. Is it that little bit of incentive that maybe might also have your favorite players remember that? Yeah,
I think so. I like the fact that, Max didn't like it and he wants to, make sure that doesn't happen. Myself and Craig Shakespeare have got the experience of myself staying up with Aston Villa, him with Leicester City. So we certainly know what it takes to stay up. And, we've got some new players who've not experienced that as well. And our job is to help them and guide them to working as hard as we can to stay in the league.
And I would imagine you could drive yourself daft looking at league tables, looking at fixtures to come, looking at trends, looking at where you might pick up points. I mean, how do you switch off? I mean, I know you like your golf, but are you still playing the chess as well?
I'll play a bit of online chess now. I haven't been playing for too much, that's for sure. A bit of golf, bit of dog walking. That's the sort of thing, take the mind off it.
Is it important that you do that?
Yeah, really important. You need an off button. You can't be switched on all the time because, mentally it'll just put too much pressure on you. So you need to get away from it where you can. But having the clarity of thought and making good decisions is key to my job.
Well, have a good flight and a good weekend.
Thanks, Peter, and you.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Pete. Okay, Naz from PLP, please. Naz.
Morning, Dean. You okay?
Morning, Naz. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Dean, how frustrating was the City game, especially at 1-0, when you give away such a really bad second? It kind of takes the wind out of your sails, doesn't it? And those are the sort of key moments in games that can really make a huge difference. And it did. Obviously, the opposition's brilliant, but just to concede like that must have really, really hurt the confidence at the start of that second half.
Yeah, it certainly did. And games change on moments like that. As you said, it took the wind out of our sails. I mean, Manchester City had chances in the first half where they could have made it one or two more. We've had a couple of chances ourselves. But at 1-0, you're in the game. And we spoke about half time about staying in the game. But, I said before the game, we had to limit our mistakes. And unfortunately, we didn't do that and allowed, Manchester City opportunities.
Peter mentioned sort of the situation at the bottom. Have you, in your time, known it be so tight after this amount of games? Because, in previous seasons, you've had teams that are well adrift, but the gap's only 4 points still, even with the run that you had through that sort of December, January period. So it gives everybody hope, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And like I alluded to before, when we came back for Project Restart, I think there was 4 teams that had 10 games left, and the rest of the league had 9 games left, and it was really close then. So, I was at Aston Villa at the time, and I believed that we could, go and catch a few who were above us, and hopefully we can do the same here at Norwich now.
Obviously, the next challenge is a fairly sizable one, but you've had your good times against Liverpool. A certain game comes to mind. How do you go there and get a result? Is literally, do you have to be at 150% and they have to be just off it a little bit to get anything from that game? Is that how it will work?
No, I think you have to have belief first and foremost that, you're capable of going there and getting the results. We as coaches have to fill the players with that belief, show them some positive moments against top teams that we've had. Yes, we've got to go and limit our mistakes, as I said earlier. But we have to have a lot of 8 out of 10 performances again. If we get that, then we've got ourselves an opportunity. When chances come along, and I don't expect us to be carving Liverpool open time and time again. But when the chances do come, then we've got to be ready for them and take that opportunity.
It is key, isn't it, to be clinical in front of goal. When Grant had that header, if that goes in, it's a different game, and you have to just show that sort of ruthlessness, don't you, in front of goal?
Yeah, you do. I mean, goals change games, as we've seen all through the season. And that second goal, as you said last week against Manchester City, took the wind out of our sails. We have to make sure that we stay in games. I think we're getting better at that. This is a different level now. With Manchester City and Liverpool, but it's the level that I feel that we can, compete with one off.
Brilliant, Dean. Listen, best of luck for the weekend and the rest of the season.
Cheers, Naz. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Naz. Tom Williams from the BBC, please. Tom.
Morning, Dean.
Morning, Tom.
You clearly had a good game plan against Man City last week that was working well. I mean, is it a different game plan against Liverpool this week because they're a different team?
Yeah, because they've both got different styles as well and different ways they try to play. I think Liverpool, I think the stats showed before the game against Inter Milan in the week that they make the most regains in the opposition half. They're a real good counter-pressing team, as everybody knows. So, you've got to be good on the ball in your own half, otherwise they're going to, win the ball and create opportunities. So, you have to come up with a different game plan for the opposition, and we'll have to do that certainly, because they'll be different to Manchester City.
Is it a frightening experience when you play these teams, or exciting?
It's exciting. I enjoy, going head to head with the best coaches in the world, and I relay that to the players, that they should enjoy going head to head with, some of the top players in the world. And, we're looking forward to it. And, the odds are stacked against us, but, we've seen before that, when there's an opportunity, these challenges can be met head on.
And just one more about the Man City game. I mean, you guys could have been a front against them, but for a stupid error, really. Could have gone in at the break 0-0. That must give you heart and must give you confidence that you can stick it out with these top sides.
Yeah, I believe we can. I mean, more importantly, I hope it gives the players some heart. I was really frustrated after the game, with the manner of the goals that we gave away. And we've spoke about it with the players. We've reflected on the game and reviewed it, and they certainly understood what we could have done better. And hopefully we can take that one further against Liverpool now.
Yeah, and just finally, I mean, the timing of these two matches isn't ideal, isn't it? Especially with your rivals, particularly Newcastle down there, having won a few games. But I guess you can't do anything about that. You got to just take these games whenever they come at you.
Yeah, you do. I mean, we can't control what happens elsewhere. We've got to just concentrate on our own performance, and hopefully that'll be enough to get us some results.
Yeah, thanks, Dean. Good luck.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tom.
Cheers, Tom. Ian, over to you. Ian, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I've got you now, mate.
How are you, Dean? You all right, mate?
I'm very good. Yourself?
Yeah, very good. I'm just thinking with Storm Eunice, why are you going to Liverpool today? Why not just go tomorrow morning?
It's too far. I mean, we'd be on the coach for 5 hours, on the day of a game. It's not ideal preparation.
Yeah, but if you're at Walsall or Brentford in the old days, you'd have done those sort of trips in one day, wouldn't you?
No, well, that was because we needed to, or we had to. So no, we'd rather get up there and make sure we're prepared for the game.
Fair enough. Obviously, Liverpool is a game where you wouldn't. You're staying up this season doesn't depend on what happens at Anfield, does it?
No, I don't think our season will be defined by these games. But it's not a free hit, because we can't be afforded free hits when there's only 14 games to go. So we've got to see it as an opportunity to try and get points.
In terms of stopping Liverpool, is the game about stopping Liverpool or about you being adventurous and going forward and imposing your game on them?
I think it has to be a bit of both. We all certainly know the threats that Liverpool have got. The front three. Set pieces. I've already seen the stats this season. They're top of the set piece list already. So we all know their threats, but we've got to find a good balance of how we're going to attack, how we're going to score goals, because the be all and end all is that we've got to score more than them.
Yeah, and they do score a lot of goals. So that's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it always is against them types of teams that score lots of goals. So we've got better. Certainly since I've been here, without the ball and making it tough for the opposition. Didn't do so well against Manchester City with that. We made too many mistakes. But as I said, if we've learned from that, and I hope we have during this week, then it can be a lot closer game.
How much of a blow is not now having Adam Mida for the rest of the season? Because Timu Pukki is a good goal scorer, but maybe not as good at holding up the ball or running the channels, let's say, as Adam, because obviously Adam's much younger.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blow because Adam's a young player who, with an awful lot of potential, who was getting better. He just had his first Premier League start, scored his first Premier League goal, which had given him an awful lot of confidence. But we've got players coming back from injury as well, which is going to help the squad. We've got Josh Sargent, who's recently scored his first Premier League goals as well. So, there's plenty of players there that we feel can share the load with Timu.
I was at the recent game with Crystal Palace, and I thought, and I saw you obviously at Charlton, that Rashika looks like he's really sort of playing to his potential now as well.
Yeah, he's one who I'm really pleased with. Certainly the progress he's made over recent weeks. And it takes a while to come back from the injury. He's only got the one FA Cup goal so far, but he's produced a few assists already, and it won't be long before he gets on the scoring sheet in the Premier League as well.
You've already said that, the gap at the bottom is only 4 points. Nobody is adrift of safety right now. But how important is it that you stay in touch within, let's say, 4.6 points going into March and maybe a slightly easier run of fixtures?
No, it's really important. As I said earlier, the season won't be defined by playing Manchester City and Liverpool. We've got the likes of Burnley, Newcastle, Brentford, all to come to Carrow Road. We've got to go to Leeds as well. So there's a lot of games out there still for us to play and get points. But we have to go into these games now. Manchester City we did, now Liverpool, believing that we can go and get points and, drag other teams into it.
Finally, a couple more. I heard last week your dog has now been allowed to come and stay with you in your hotel. Got a smile on your face already. How important is that? The little things like having a dog with you now for your private life, for you away from the football club.
No, it's important that my wife and my dog have come down, so I get some family time. Never easy living apart, as anybody knows who has to work away from home. So it's been good to have them down, and we've been able to have some real good time together.
Yeah, in no way was I trying to make out the dog was more important than Mrs. Smith, by the way.
No, you don't get me in trouble, that's for sure.
Last one, how much can you enjoy a trip like tomorrow and enjoy taking on somebody like Jurgen Klopp, pitting your wits against one of the elite managers in world football? Yeah,
I always enjoy it. I mean, Liverpool and Anfield is one of the best stadiums to go to and play football in. The atmosphere is quite unique there, and we've seen what Jurgen has done at that football club, and it's a tough place to go, but it's one where you enjoy going and you savour the atmosphere, but you also are hoping that your teammate can savour it as well and put in a really good performance.
Have a safe trip. See you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers, Ian. Jim.
Hi, Dean. Morning.
Morning, Jim.
Can I just check with Adam? Was it his knee, his ankle? Because there's a couple of troubles.
Yeah, he had an arthroscopy and it's a meniscus problem.
Yeah, I mean, although it's you're losing an important player in the front line. Does this perhaps also provide an opportunity for someone maybe like Tzolis that we haven't seen much of yet?
Yeah, it does. He gives an opportunity for a number of them. We had a behind closed doors friendly on Tuesday because I was mindful of the fact that a lot of players needed some minutes, and they got the minutes on Tuesday. It's disappointing that we lose Adam, but like you say, it gives an opportunity for other players now, and they've really got to step up to the plate because Adam was really doing well.
Can I just check in on how Tim's doing, and also Ozan? Are they coming back to fitness now?
Yeah, Ozan's back to full fitness. He played 90 minutes on Tuesday. Tim's doing some ball work at the moment, some handling work. I think he's due to have another injection into the shoulder today. So he's coming along nicely. Lucas Rupp he's back in rehabilitation as well. So we're hoping that he will join in with us next week.
You don't think there's any long-term issue with Tim? You think it's going to be a matter of weeks before he's back?
Yeah, no. More importantly, I think Tim believes it's going to be a matter of weeks as well.
Okay, cool. You talked last week about what players can learn from when you go up against Manchester City, but what can you take as you and Craig take as coaches from these games?
That I don't really enjoy VAR too much. I know the game was lost, and the penalty decision turned the game from 3 to 4. I didn't think it was a 4-0 performance. But we've learnt about the players during the game, and when we reviewed it, we spoke an awful lot about concentration and focus levels. And it's something that we have to get better at, because I felt that's where little lapses in concentration against the top level players can cost you, and we found that, and it's something we've been stressing to the players.
So just those small things could make a big difference then.
Yeah, small things. It's always small things. It's little marginal things that can change a game at times.
Just on the travel situation, I know there's a few Premier League clubs who have got issues with that. Is there any contingency plan in place if you're not able to fly up? Because just looking at the forecast for Merseyside later, it looks worse than it does here.
Yeah, if we can't fly up, we'll just go on a coach as normal. There's travel issues all across the country. We're due to fly up, and as far as I'm concerned, if a pilot's happy to go up, they're happy to go with him.
I think you're a braver man than me. I'm going up in one of those jets today. Thanks very much, Dean. Best of luck at Anfield. Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, Jim. John West, over to you, please.
Hi, Dean.
Morning, John.
I was interested, you mentioned the chess, or the chess was mentioned. I know that you're a former champion. Is going up against Jurgen Klopp going up against a grandmaster? And has he got about 4 queens and 6 bishops?
Yeah.
He's got.
He's certainly got a few more pieces than me at the moment. So there would be an advantage in terms of the quality of players, but our mindset's going to be a really important part of it, and we have to try and outthink where we can. But I saw in the week, it's amazing, what he's done at Liverpool in the time he's been there. I think it's 50 Champions League wins alone now. So yes, we're coming up against the Grandmaster, and I'm really looking forward to it. We've had some good battles against him before. Obviously I was at a different club at the time, so it'd be my first with Norwich, and we'll have 2 in the space of 2 weeks. So we have to come up with some tricks where we can.
You must be the only man on the planet who's beaten Liverpool by scored 7 goals against Liverpool. Can you recall the emotions that went through all that? I'm assuming there was surprise as well as extreme joy. And what do you say to Jurgen Klopp after that?
Well, he just said to me, "Wow, we were very good on the day. We punished any mistake that they made, but I said to him at the time, even at 6-2, I was still uncomfortable. That's the sort of team that Liverpool have got. But it's a long time ago, and they've moved on. I've moved on, and certainly going there with a new club and a fresh impetus now."
Sure. Has your chess background helped you as a coach on the tactical? I mean, football managing is moving pieces around, although they move themselves.
No, has it helped? Possibly, I don't know. But football is about, it's a little bit like chess. You're trying to come up with solutions to problems that opposition give you. And I'm trying to get our players to make better decisions. So, whether it helped me in my playing days or my coaching days, I'm not so sure.
Are you a better player than you were when you were a schoolboy champion?
No, I don't think so. I've played less and less. So it's like a bit like golf. You have to play pretty regular. There's certain moves that obviously stick with you.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, and good luck.
Thanks, John. Michael.
Morning, Dean.
Morning, Michael.
I wanted to check on Andrew Omobamidele, because I know that there was a setback last week. Is there any news on him?
There is. He had a stress response, as you know. He had time off. He hasn't actually managed to deal with the training load so far. So he will go back to see a consultant and to get further guidance, really. So that was a bit of a setback as well.
Okay, so it's just on the back burner until he does that, and yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. With Adam, may I ask sort of how he did it or when he did it? Because obviously he came through the Palace game, it looked okay, and you'd mentioned that there was a sort of recovery session. So was it sort of after the game or was it during the game?
No, it was actually in the game. He actually done it. I actually haven't seen the incident yet, but there was a tackle where I think he planted his foot and he hurt his ankle and his knee in the same incident, but played on. Next day came in for his recovery session and just felt a little bit stiff. Came in the next day and he was still stiff. So that was the time that he reported it to the medical staff. And unfortunately, he's gone in for an arthroscopy and he's got meniscus damage that had to be repaired yesterday.
So, I mean, I suppose in some instances you can have a knee injury and you kind of know you fear it's a bad one from the off, but I don't know. This one, it seems like you'd been a bit shocked if you'd have thought that after the Palace game, I guess.
Yeah, no, it seemed very innocuous, and one that if he's got through the game, you're hoping he can go run off, but unfortunately, he was a little bit more damaged than that.
The only other thing I wanted to ask you about is Josh, which I was going to ask you about Josh anyway before we found out the Adam news. But I just sort of wanted to get more of your thoughts on him and working with him so far, in terms of, because when he arrived, obviously it had been quite a difficult move for him probably initially. Can you remember what your sort of first impressions were when you sort of started working with him?
To be honest with you, did he surprise me in shaking? No, not really. We were quite aware of him anyway. He's a real fit lad. He's, as I would expect him to be. He's been in America, he's been in Germany, so he's come to the game, and he's one who you can rely on. That's what we've found. He's strong-willed, wants to learn on the training ground as well. Was getting frustrated, I think, the fact he hadn't scored. So I think you could see the confidence that grew within him once he scored that first goal against Watford. And he played last week against Man City, and he was okay, but you could tell it was his first game for a while since an illness. So he's had a really good week's training this week, and he'll be ready for tomorrow.
Did he surprise you with his age? Because I think most people have forgotten how young he is.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of the players, who surprised me with their age. Max Aarons he's played 150 games, and Ozan Kabak is only 21, and Josh Sargent is only 21. So there's a lot of young players, but fortunately we've got some experienced players like Ken McLean and Grant Hanley who are helping them through as well.
Brilliant. And I suppose by default you are going to need players like Josh to step up with Adam's absence from here on in, aren't you? You're going to, however good they've been, you are going to need probably that little bit more from them. Yeah,
we certainly are. And it gives the opportunity to the likes of Shemi, Christos, Dowley, Jonathan Rowe, who's really impressed us since he stepped in and started training with us. So, it's an opportunity for them boys now.
Lovely job. Cheers, Dean. Good luck tomorrow. Safe trip.
Thanks, Michael. And you.
Thanks, Michael. Paddy, please, over to you.
Morning, Dean. How are you?
Morning, Paddy. Yeah, good, thank you.
That wind's getting up outside my window, mate. I hope you hope you got, I don't know, put something to put you to sleep.
I'm trying to get close on.
Yeah, but I won't go back over the Adamida lines you've already been asked. But just on a personal level for the young man, as he took it, because, as I say, he's a young man, but he's a young man who must have thought he just got his opportunity, having been so patient as he been able to start processing it, because now he's going to be out, by the sound of it, for months.
Yeah, I've yet to speak to him yet. Obviously, he went in to see the consultant yesterday. He was going in for an arthroscopy, and they just dealt with it then. So I'm yet to speak to him, but certainly at this football club, we've got the ways and means to make sure he's got something to speak to if he needs to.
I mean, you've talked about what next in terms of how you as a coach and Shaky deal with not having him available, but the success you'd had in that four-pronged, him and Timu and Milo and Josh in a lot of these recent games. Just following on from those questions there, Josh Sargent, could he go in and do that role if you decide you still want to sort of try and retain that four options at the top end of the pitch, the one in and around Timu?
Yeah, no, he certainly can. He came here as a striker anyway. He's got similar attributes. He can make it stick. He can run in behind. He can score goals as well. So they have got similar attributes, which means now there's going to be an opportunity for others.
Yeah. In terms of Liverpool, I mean, that was an interesting stat you said about them regaining the numbers that tell you they're as good as anything in terms of the opposition half the turnovers. You would have seen the Inter game. They were very brave in how high they pressed. That's all well and good in a different competition and you're the home team, but can you take something from that approach going to Anfield?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a game plan, two parts of it, how to deal with, three parts, how to deal with transitions, both for and against us. But then, what we're going to do without the ball? Are we going to go and press them high? Are we going to mid block? But also on the ball, how are we going to build against them? How are we going to create? They're the important things that we've been working on this week. And, the game on Tuesday helps us, go through a few of them. The lads who didn't play, we worked on the training ground as well. So, I said before, I think the group are really good at learning. They, the analysis room will turn into a learning zone now, and the players are starting to, get a lot more vocal now as well.
I mean, again, you've been asked this today already. It is a different approach in terms of Man City and how they build the play to how Liverpool do. But would you agree? You look at the players and pound for pound, their attacking options, because obviously Man City play particularly, recently that false nine and very good in wide areas. But in terms of pure attacking ability, goal scoring threat, these are as good as anything, aren't they? Yeah, they are. I mean, you just look at the Salah and Mane for, two of that front three. Firmino scores in the week as well. And, you can say he plays as a false nine at times. He drops into that 10 area and links things up really well. So, yeah, I mean, there's some similarities between them and Man City, but there's obviously a difference in the terms of how they play as well. And the fact that they are the best team at winning the ball back in your half just shows how good they are at pressing collectively as a team. Yeah, sure. Final one for me. Guy, you've not really been asked about too much, but you've played him now pretty regularly through this run. Pierre-Lise Malou, what do you like about him? And do you think he's really kicked on? Because, again, he's another one, maybe came into England for the first time, needed a few months to adapt to all the English tempo and compared to the French league is about. But you like what you're seeing because you keep picking him. Yeah, I mean, I think all players need a smaller adaptation period, to adjust to life in a different country. But his football knowledge is there for all to see. He's played at the top level in France for a number of years. He's a real high technical player, and he's one that we feel that we can trust. And, we've been liking his performances so far. Cheers, Dane. Safe trip later. All the best. Cheers. Thanks, Paddy. Cheers.
Cheers, Paddy. Finally, Phil.
Hi, Dean. Nice to see you.
Hi, Phil. And you?
While you're talking about Pierre, I mean, it feels like a goal isn't far away. And I say that, it's probably going to come from outside the box, isn't it? I mean, he scored one in pre-season, I seem to remember, and he's getting plenty of shots off. It's only a matter of time, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I think he's got, decent technique on him. Certainly in finishing drills and in small-sided games, in training, he hits the back of the net regular. So, he'll probably be aware, that he needs to score more goals. We spoke about Ken McLean the other week, and he got one against Wolves. So hopefully there's one coming from the likes of Pierre, Matthias if he comes back, Billy Gilmore, because we need goals from all areas.
You'd said, it was probably a month or so ago, but before Adam Idah was getting a sort of regular run, that you'd seen an improvement in him on the training pitch. How much time have you got to invest in individuals, if you like, behind the scenes? Because you've got to do that with the next player to step up and fill his void.
Yeah, well, that's our role. That's what we have to do on a regular basis. We have to keep working individually with the players. That's why we brought another member of staff in, Liam Bramley, in as well to spread, the coaching availability. We've got Steve Weaver with us as well. So all the work that we can do is to make each individual better and then make the collective better.
You've put a pretty brave face on it today. I'm sure the face was pretty different when you found out the news about Adam. Mainly because you've been short in that area anyway, weren't you? But before this injury, so it just feels like. Do you feel like you've got to sort of throw everything up in the air and try and start afresh?
No, not really. I mean, we've got some injuries that are coming back as well. So part of the being in football is it's an impact sport. There's players getting injured, fairly regular because it's very competitive as well. So you come to learn to just to deal with it. It happens, and when somebody gets injured, it just opens an opportunity for somebody else.
You were talking about concentration earlier. Is that the hardest thing to coach? You know, it's almost impossible. You can easily point out when someone has switched off and when they're not quite alert and not quite in the right position. But actually teaching concentration, how do you do that?
Yeah, no, it's one that, you know, we have to spend time on. We've invested in a sports psychologist now to come into the football club and firstly work with the staff and then the players. And I think that can certainly add to it because, you know, the mental side of the game is bigger than any other side of the game, in my opinion. You know, you can be a good technician, but unless you've got the mental capacity to deal with it, you know, it doesn't mean anything. So we're working on things like that all the time by putting the players in difficult situations and having them make decisions, and, you know, sometimes stressing them, you know, in hard training sessions, so their concentration is pushed to the limit, and seeing how they make decisions as well. So, you know, there's different ways that we train the brain, but we're certainly trying to do that more regular.
Because it's difficult, isn't it? It's sort of different when you're going forward and defending, because going forward, you've got a decision making. You might only have one or two opportunities to find the right pass. But when you're defending against teams like Manchester City and Liverpool, it's a barrage, isn't it? That decision making is made every few seconds.
Yeah, it is, and you know, and that's what I said. It's all right for me to review the game and reflect on it after, and sit down in a debrief and say, well, you should have been in this position. But as you say, the game changes, you know, every second for them. They're making decisions all the time, and all we can do is make sure we train them to make better decisions.
Do you ever consider just parking the bus, or does that just bring on, I think, you know, too many decision-making sort of issues to make?
Yeah, that's not the way I want to play the game. I just think the high-quality level of players in the Premier League, if you go and park the bus, eventually they find a way. And, you know, even if you go and get beat just by the odd goal, you know, you feel, what if we'd have had to go at them? And, you know, I think history has probably told everyone, if you give up that much of the ball, eventually teams will score.
Yeah, tell a few of the former Norwich managers that a few years back. As far as Manchester City is concerned, I know you're a stats man. What was the headline for you? What did you learn about your team from that game?
I think we stayed in the game for long periods. The disappointing part for me was we gave up too many big chances in the game, and too many of them were from set pieces, which I felt we could have controlled a lot better. You know, so that was the standout for me. That was the one area that I want to see improvement from.
And just finally, I know you had that midweek sort of friendly, if you like, if there's ever a friendly. It's always feast or famine in the Premier League, isn't it? You go through periods where it feels like a game every 2 or 3 days. And then sometimes you want to try and shoehorn a friendly in because you need the game time, you need the minutes.
Yeah, it was really important for us because we've got a lot of players who've come back from injury and illness. Ozan Kabak, for one. Dimi has not played since Charlton. So there's a lot of players that needed to go and get some match minutes. So it was really important that we went and did that. You know, and then it's that balancing act then. The lads who've already played on the Saturday, we've got to give them a good enough programme to make sure they're ready for this Saturday.
And it was beneficial, was it, for the weekend?
Yeah, no, it was really beneficial. You know, you could see that, you know, some of the players needed minutes, and I think we've got Aston Villa in the 23s on Monday, and we'll you know, 3 or 4 of the players will play in that as well.
Top man. Good luck this weekend. Thank you.
Cheers, Phil.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Recording will be sent around later this morning. Thank you.